We're so happy to have him back. And he's a dear friend of mine. I tell you what, dear friend, dear friend, dear friend. When he comes out to Vegas, he stays here at the Ponderosa, and we roll out the red carpet for him. And I tell you what, we just have a great time in fellowship. And I want to thank him for riding out to Dallas with me. Fort Worth for the surprise birthday party. I was wondering why he was in the car without his wife, because he doesn't go anywhere without his wife. And I respect that man for that. And I was wondering why, but I found out why. Anyway, he's a wonderful father. He is a great dad. He has 5 beautiful kids. And you guys saw the video last time of his kids going out talking about the Lord. I mean, his kids are amazing. And he homeschools them. That's on top of it, he homeschools them. Man, I have so much admiration for this guy. I have so much, because his kids are just in fact, you could drive from one side of the coast to the other side of the coast. His kids won't act up or nothing. They're just perfect kids. They're great kids. He's a devout family man. He's a youth pastor for his church. He's even a Cleveland Brown fan. Oh, I forgot to put my Cleveland shirt on. He lives in Dallas, Texas now. He had regional vice president in his 27th month. He has season tickets to the Browns. I want to go to one of the Browns games, wink, wink, in the next season. Without further ado, can we give a warm welcome to my dear friend, the one and only Steve Payten II. Come on, everybody. Regional Vice President Platinum.
Well, let's get it. You know, I appreciate the warm introduction, Mr. Thomas. And I tell you, I was thinking about our conversations that we have when I'm out there in Vegas, man. I tell you, this man has so much wisdom, you know, in network marketing, but also outside of network marketing. He's just so wise. And that's the kind of people you want to be around, people that are going to elevate you and help you take your life to the next level. So I just appreciate your friendship. And for those that are on the call, I just have to preface this by saying that it's imperative that you guys are coachable and that you guys take advantage of your leadership and your mentorship, because that is really the key to the business. You know, a lot of times I get questions and people say, how did you do it? You know, how did you do it so fast? Or you know, what is the key to moving fast and multi-level marketing? Because even though Mr. Thomas thinks I was in Amway, I never tried any type of MLM before this. So it's like I was a baby, and people want to know, how did you do it with no experience? And that's how, honestly, I was humble enough to be coachable and do everything. I just kept thinking, man, this person has what I want. So I was doing it. And that's the difference. I just realized that after a decade of being in this business, most people are not coachable. They talk a good game. Oh, I'll be teachable. I'll be coachable. I'll do exactly what you say. And they don't do anything that you say. They do what they want to do, that they feel comfortable with doing. And then they get upset about why the business isn't flowing the way they thought it would. Oh, it makes so much sense. You're getting paid off for your own bills. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But what doesn't make sense is that you don't listen. You do it your way. And if you do it your way, it's just not going to work. So don't take Mr. Thomas for granted, because he's a servant leader. I'm telling you, a lot of teams that are in this company, you meet people at the Elevates or Emerge events, and they'll say, what? You know, you talk to your team, you know, you're there with your team, you spend time with your team. It's night and day. I'm telling you, it's just have a conversation with somebody random. They're not like me, or they're not like Mr. Thomas, where we are hands-on and there for our team. So make sure that you do not take them for granted and you guys listen. So my name is Stephen Payten II. Like Mr. Thomas said, you know, I got started with this. I've been now here with this company for a decade. And after 10 months, I walked away from my job. I went full-time with this company. I hit regional director, then regional vice president, like he said, in 27 months, and then platinum regional vice president, and then became a circular champion, making decisions with the company. And it's just been an unbelievable ride in this decade of doing this business. Now I have almost 8,000 business partners and over 40,000 customers. I've been able to really enjoy my freedom. And like Mr. Thomas said, I homeschool the kids. So like, I'm in the middle, right next to the homeschool room right now. And I told them, I said, listen, y'all got to be quiet. I even turned a couple of the devices off because some of them wanted to continue to get done at the same time, but I didn't want to be distracted. I said, this call won't be so long, but I am just excited to talk to you guys because I want to show you guys a different perspective. And last time we talked 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago, I told you guys, I told you about my kids, how on their own, they started a Bible study for those that weren't on the call. And they made this decision on their own. And, I praise God that they have their own relationship with God, but it takes work. It's one thing to have a vision, but it takes work. And just watching them, it's been so much. So after that, so that week, as you guys know, they had their first Bible study. They were excited and nobody showed up. It was just them, and that can be discouraging. I remember when I had my first, PBR, I had a couple people that came, but my second one, only one came, and my third one, nobody came. So I know how it feels to invite people. They knocked on hundreds of doors that first week and nobody showed up. They had 100 flyers, and they actually passed out a flyer to each person, only people that knocked on the door. So they knocked on hundreds of doors. They were out for hours. And then the following week, that you guys don't know about, they did the same thing. So the following week, they did the same thing. And guess what? It increased. One person showed up. Praise God. That one person is a major, major, major deal. And, we evaluated afterwards. We talked about some things that they could do differently. And the third week, I'll tell you guys about that a little bit later. But what I'll tell you is, leading up to this week, what I noticed, I said, and my wife and I, both, we noticed, we said, listen, you guys are not on one accord. You guys are not working together. And I'm gonna tell you this, even with my team this week, the issue that I had with my team, I told one of my leaders, I said, listen, you're not utilizing your team. I said, it doesn't matter to get people in the business. What matters is if you duplicate people in the business, you're duplicating leaders. So when they get in the business, you need to work with them. I said to him, I said, everybody matters. So what happens is, this is what happens when somebody is not showing up, meaning they're kind of whack in the business. They're kind of whack. They're not doing anything in the business. Then what ends up happening, I told him, I said, everybody matters on your team. Everybody matters. And what happens is when somebody is not doing anything, they're kind of, not having any production, they're not following the system, they're not coachable, it's so easy for you to just say, forget about them. They're not doing anything. You don't call them. You don't invite them to events. You don't try to motivate them. And I teach my team, I say, if I'm leveling up, I always apologize. Sorry, I wasn't the leader that you were expecting. I wasn't the leader that you needed, but I'm ready to help now. And I tell them, this is what you need to do. You need to have a meeting. You need to plug in to this next event, whatever the next event is. If it's Emerge, if it's Elevate, if it's a regional, if it's a leadership like this, plug into this event, and then we'll talk. After that event, I'll try to get them to have a meeting, because you can't do it by yourself. You need a team. So they're working together. My kids are working together, and they are a whole bunch of Steve Paytens. So they think they know everything. Everybody wants to be the leader. Everybody wants to tell everybody what to do instead of working together. So I'm trying to get them to work together, be on one accord, and so is my wife. And we showed them some things, about one, don't wait to the last minute. Wait until the last minute for your plan, for your Bible study. Don't wait till the last minute. So I'm gonna tell y'all the same thing. Don't wait until the last minute. Today is the day. Set everything up after this call. This is what I see, and this is one of the biggest issues. People talk about what they're going to do. So you have a call like this, you get fired up. You get to the Emerge event, Elevate event, you get fired up. And then you talk about what you're going to do. I'm going to do this, you know, and this and this. No, do it today. Call people today. Today. It's 11 o'clock, you know, wherever you're at, it's early, you know. May just be getting to the afternoon or whatever if you're on the East Coast, but it's still the morning everywhere else. So do it today. Don't talk about what you're going to do tomorrow or next week or the week after or next month. Oh, I'm going to do this in May. No, do it today. Get started today. So I said, after that Bible study, immediately you need to evaluate. Immediately you need to start doing things. My wife said, because they decided to fast together on Wednesday. She said, so when y'all fast together, y'all need to already have the game plan, already talking to each other. You don't want to wait till the last minute and then ask our opinion on Friday. They asked me the night before. So don't wait till the last minute to start your business, because you are going to track who you are. One thing that in our family meeting, my daughter said that as she was knocking on doors, she realized that she feels like teenagers don't want to do it because they see kids too, because I got different age groups. And I said, and this goes for you guys too, what you project is going to happen. The Bible says, what a man thinketh, so is he. So if you believe, oh, people aren't going to want to do this business, people aren't going to want to do the business. If you believe people that are successful aren't going to want to do this business, people that got money aren't going to want to do this business, they're not going to do this business. If you believe that broke people aren't going to want to do this business, you're going to miss out on Steve Payten, because they're going to want to do this business. So whatever you project, whatever you think is going to happen. That's why a lot of you guys aren't working right now, because you think people aren't going to do this. People aren't going to want to get on calls. People aren't going to want to get on whatever you think. Everything that you think is what you project. So I said to her, I said, no. I said, you don't want to believe that. That's not true. I said, people do want to. You need to have a conversation with them. Tell them you're going to be there. If I saw a beautiful young lady like you and I was a teenager and you just flat out said, no, I'm going to be there, I would say, okay, well, I'm going to be there too, you know? So I said, that's the mindset you guys got to have. I told my son the same thing, because he said people aren't going to want to, because he believes that he's a nerd, and he is. And he believes that because he is always, you know, he wants to talk, he's always thinking about stuff, that the way he shows up, he doesn't attract certain people. People don't want to talk. I said, that's not true. I said, people want to have knowledge. People want to have conversations with you. I was like that. My wife is right here next to me. I was a nerd, but even though I was a nerd, I had a full ride to The Ohio State University. I had a 3.8. Even though I was a nerd, I was cool with everybody. And it was because I knew how to have a conversation. I was confident. I didn't care how I looked. I didn't care how I dressed. I didn't care how I acted. I just knew that I was me, unapologetically me, and that I had something to bring to the table. So it didn't matter who I was. I talked to everybody. It didn't matter how you look. I mean, I talked to the people that people didn't care about. I was cool with the jocks. I was cool with everybody. And I got voted best personality because of it in my yearbook. And I applied those same principles in ACN. And I realized back then, I realize now, people will have a conversation. People like knowledge. People like to learn. So people will love to even learn that they can get paid on people's bills. They would like to learn that they can diversify their income, that they have an opportunity, but you won't even have a conversation with them because you're projecting. You think that the way you are, or because you think different, they don't want to do what you do, or they don't want to take the time out to, no, it's what you thinking. What you think before you invite them on a call, before you have your presentation. All of that stuff holds you back. So I told my kids, I said, look, I said, do you not think that the Lord gave you this vision? So if the Lord gave you this vision, you don't think that it's people already ready, that he's already softened their heart with his spirit, and they're already ready for Bible study? They're already ready. They're waiting for something. I'm telling you, it's the same thing with, I have belief. When I got promoted to team coordinator, you know, the position that was called team coordinator, regional coordinator, I said in my testimony that the way I was able to do it so fast, because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I said, he who began a good work is faithful to complete it. So the work had begun. So it was already, the harvest was plentiful. It was already people that were looking to diversify. They wanted something. I just had to go find them. I had to put in the work. So I put in the work. So I said, do you think that people are not ready? They are ready. They are ready. I said, but if you show up projecting your own thoughts, if you don't have confidence, if you are half doing it, if you aren't excited about it, if you are lazy with it, it's going to reflect and people aren't going to show up. So I said, you have to believe. I said, I can tell your belief by your friends. Where are your friends from church? You just, calling, knocking on doors in the community. Where are your friends from church? Did you invite them? Did you invite your couple of cousins that that are in Texas? Where are they? That shows me your belief. And it shows me your belief when I work with people in ACN. Who did you invite? Did you call? What siblings do you have? Who do you know? You're not even inviting people. I know, and some people I know. I'm like, I know you. You're an engineer, or you do this, you do that. You're not invited. You're not putting me in front of anybody. So what are you doing? Are you projecting? Are you putting in the work? So listen, they did. They put in better work, more work. And this is what happened. I want you guys to see this. So this is the start of the Bible study on just the start. This is the start of the Bible study. They got a couple of more people, as you can see. It went from 1 to 3. It's good, real good. And with the Bible study, this was this past Saturday. They knocked on doors again. They talked to people, got some friends. And look at this. This is what ended up happening. One of the kids said at the Bible study at the beginning, this looks like a bunch of paperwork. My kids were looking at their paper and stuff. Like I told you, they need to get a little bit more organized. And he went to go do his own thing. This is in the middle of it. He went to go do his own thing. And he had come back. He came back to go into the Bible study and listening and talking because they were having fun. His sister was a little bit younger. I want to say she's 6. And, she was telling him, she said, he came back to the table and she said, you need to listen and you need to take off your mask. This is little sister. Take off your mask and sit down. And he got upset and left again. Went up on the slide. That's him up there, doing his own thing. And this really is how it is. You get people that they get started, they get ready to go. It seems like they ready to sign up, and then something happens where they're like, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. And he saw some stuff that he didn't like. He didn't want to do it. He's like, what are you guys talking about? But what happened was they didn't flinch. They continued to follow the system. They continued to go on with the Bible study. And he started to get a little bit more attracted. And this is what happened by the end. By the end, he was back. By the end, he was back listening. He was able to get a prize because he heard and was listening to what they were doing, what they were talking about, and he started to get excited. And at the end, my wife passed out prizes and a treat, and he was excited. He was able to answer one of the questions. And that is very similar to how the business works. I'm gonna tell you, at my first meeting, I got started in July, at the end of July. Wow, it's about to be 11 years. At the end of July, and nobody got started. Nobody got started until September in my business. So 3 months later, I got my first business partner, and then I got my second business partner a week later in September. Actually, I got one of my best friend's brother. He got into business. You see how, look, my best friend's brother. So, I invited my best friend too. I was inviting everybody at this point. Like, I started to turn my mindset shifted because I went to an event. Then I got my cousin in the business, and at the end of September. And then 3 months later, I got RVP, Mr. Antonio Churn, in the business. So I was moving. But look at this. Look at that. I want y'all to see this. This is my growth chart, my first couple of years in the business. I wonder, can you guys see it good? But by the end of 2012, by December, I got in July. By December, I only had 14 business partners. My first 3 months, I had no business partners. As you can see, this at the top, it says Impact International. That's me. 14 business partners. 2013, I had 145, 606, 1907. It kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It kept duplicating because I kept working. Are you working? Do you think that after I had one person at my meeting, I wasn't discouraged? Listen, I had Mr. Efren Tejada, my upline. He was my upline RVP at the time. He came into Cleveland. I made calls with my team. My wife saw me. I got 30 confirmations. One person showed up. One person. Do you know how embarrassing that was? But out of that one person, I worked. I put them in, and I put somebody up under them, and then I built a massive, massive organization in that organization of thousands of business partners, because that didn't discourage me. That wasn't going to stop me from putting in the work. And you saw that it duplicated and duplicated and duplicated. Again, here it goes right here. This is same year, 2018, showing my business or whatever. See right there, Impact International. I got my brother, my best friend's brother in first, and then put him in. See, September. That's my first business partner. July 27th, September. Look at this. And then September. Then nothing in that leg. Nothing in this leg until March. Work. Not being discouraged. Fighting. Working every day. Remember, in my first year, I only have 14 business partners in my first year. But then by my second year, I had 145 because I was putting in work. After 10 months, I became really, it's a regional director. I had 200 points in each leg, okay? You see how I kept duplicating? And I'm gonna show you guys this. This is how by 2018, this is how many customers I had, It was on the pot. I had 8,000 energy customers, 1,600 internet, almost 3,000 home security. Look at this. 3,000 wireless, 172 merchant services in my entire organization. Because of work, because of belief, because I was having meetings every single day, putting in the work. If my kids can do it, they're building the same way. It starts off with 1 and then goes to 3. And then watch, it's gonna be more. It's gonna be more. If y'all message me and say how many it is, it's gonna be more the next week, because they put in the work. They don't sit there and talk about it. They put in the work. They're being strategic. That's what, I had a message on YouTube a week ago, and it's called As Dear Children. And Jesus says that you gotta be as a child. And I get it. It's because they're not emotional. They just doing exactly what the Lord told them to do. And we get emotional. We do things and we create excuses and stuff that set us back. Oh, this is going on in my life. Oh, I gotta go to work. I got this. No, you're lazy. My mentor said to me when, so I showed you how I had my, who I had in the business. And I asked my mentor, Mr. Effantai, I said, hey, you know, I got some success in the business. I've been doing pretty good. And I said, and I keep trying to get my friend to do this business. He has a church. He just got married. His wife got a church. He's involved with both. He knows a ton of people. Everybody loves him. I don't understand why he won't do anything in the business. And he said to me, he said, you have success in the business because you get it. He said, busy people get stuff done. He said, I said, and my friend, he doesn't even have a job. He said, he doesn't have a job because he doesn't want a job. He said, you could get a job right now. He said, no offense, but your friend is lazy. He said, I'm telling him all the stuff I got going on. I'm busy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing ministry. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And he said, busy people get stuff done. That's what he told me. And it's true. Everybody's busy. Everybody's busy. That friend was making excuses. How can some of the people that had the most time, you guys are on here at 11 a.m., 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. You have availability. I work from 8 a.m. to 10, 11 o'clock at night, Monday through Saturday. And I walked away with 4 kids and 1 on the way. And I walked away from my job after just 10 months of doing the business. How was that able to happen? That was able to happen because I put in the work. I put in the time. You got to put in the work. So look, fear does not exist in this dojo. Defeat does not exist in this dojo. It does not exist. No more fear, no more defeat. Get stuff done. No more excuses. If you have time to get on this call, then you have time to make a list. You have time to put in the work. Don't just get on the call and listen and watch and then not do nothing the next week. Then not do nothing the next couple of days. And I'm not talking about just getting a couple of customers either and then clapping and stuff and being happy about getting customers. I'm talking about make a list, have a presentation, expose people to the business. Because together, everyone achieves more. You can get a couple of customers, but you're not going to get 8,000 like that. Like I showed you, 8,000 energy customers. You have to put in the work and expose people to business. So that's what I want y'all to do today. Make a list and start being aggressive. Don't put off what you're going to do and talk about doing it tomorrow. Do it today. Start doing it today. So I love you guys. I hope that this excites you and this motivates you. I leverage and I use my kids a little bit. But listen, if they could do it, you could do it. You know, sometimes it's good to hear from a different side of things, and it may not be your typical ACN conversation. But listen, I'm ACN for life. It's in me. So the stuff that I learned from this company, I apply it with my kids and with my family. And we're building businesses and ministries for the kingdom and doing all different types of things with the same concept. The concept is really simple: work and duplication. So I love you guys. God bless. And I'll turn the call over to my friend, one of my mentors, Mr. Al Thomas, Senior Vice President.